I'm Mark.
And I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV for the week of August 5th, 2015. Not a whole lot out this week as far as new number ones. We're into the second consecutive week of conspicuously absent first issues. But I think we've been conditioned to expect new number ones on a regular basis. So this is actually more of a return to normalcy, I think. Which is not a bad thing, and what that means is that we get a lot of really solid stuff that we've already talked about.
Should we elect Calvin Coolidge? Is that who it was? Return to normalcy? Somebody campaigned on that.
Uh-huh. Yes. It was,
no, that was Keep Cool with Cal.
Bolivar Trask. No,
Yes.
It was... Okay. So, I will lead things off with my pick of the week, Civil War. Apparently, this is called Civil War, Whose Side Are You On?
Because it's on every cover, yeah.
Yes. Number 2.
I think it's more of a
Written by Charles Soule, artwork by Laniel Francis Yu, and to me, this is the breakout, awesome story of Secret Wars. There are so many great stories coming out of the Secret Wars event that are really what-ifs to me, or Elseworld stories. But Civil War is rising, or standing head and shoulders above everybody else. That's not putting down everybody else. That's just saying that you should be reading Civil War. And based on our sales of the Civil War trade paperback, it is one of Marvel's most popular stories, if not their most popular story. So if you enjoyed the original Civil War, you should definitely be checking out this alternate future version of Civil War where the war never ends. Steve Rogers is still alive. Tony Stark is still alive. This is approximately, it's kind of tough to say, maybe 10 years after Stanford.
I'm not sure.
Because Peter and Mary Jane are still married. They have a daughter that looks like she's probably, 8
it's hard
or
to
10.
tell
It's hard to tell.
Yeah,
At first I thought it was 20 years after the event, but that
There's
makes
no
no
way.
sense
Yeah.
whatsoever. So anyway, it's really cool to see who is on, which heroes and villains are on each side. There's been an assassination that screws up a peace talk between Steve and Tony, and I'm just really enjoying it. I mean, it is incredibly good. Charles Soule is just an amazing writer, and he's doing an outstanding job on this. So this is a must-read. If I have to qualify something as a must-read for Marvel Comics fans, this is a must-read. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree.
Do you have anything to say about it?
I do not. It was good.
Okay. It was better than good. He lies. He's wrong.
Next up, I've got Ultimate End, issue number 4 by Brian Bendis with art by Mark Bagley, his longtime Ultimate collaborator. And I think the further we get into this, the more I see that I think Ultimate End is maybe the most important of the tie-ins. This is definitely the one where we're seeing the meat of what's going on. This is the first issue where we get kind of a larger picture of Battleworld. We have more stuff with Doom, and Valeria is kind of counseling him as she does in this universe. And this was just awesome. We continue to see great characterizations of people from both the Ultimate Universe and the main Marvel Universe. This is really the only place where you can get characters that have the same level of information we have. There's something weird going on. Their world's been mashed together. They don't know what's going on any more than we do, and they're very recognizable because they are the regular versions. We don't have to figure out, is that this guy or that guy, or is this Old Man Logan version of whatever. But in this issue, we start to see stuff come together into a possible resolution, and I think based on the solicitations of what we've seen coming out of Marvel after Secret Wars, the stuff that happens in this book is going to be important. And plus, it's written by one of the best writers in comics, Brian Michael Bendis, who has a long history shepherding the Ultimate Universe, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. As I was reading it last night, you reach that point in the book where you're like, okay, now we're seeing the connection to the bigger picture of Secret Wars. And the only thing that's throwing me off, and it actually is a contradiction to what you said, there are some points in here where I can't tell who's who.
Well, you can't tell if it's the Ultimate or the regular version.
I can't tell if it's the Ultimate version or the 616 version, and that kind of throws me a little bit.
Yeah.
Like in the first issue, Hawkeye dies.
Right.
I didn't know which Hawkeye it was at first. I had to go back, and it's the Ultimate Hawkeye.
Okay.
Or maybe it was Clint. I don't know. But if it's Clint, that doesn't make any sense unless everything just kind of goes back to normal. But anyway, solid.
I think the Ultimate Hawkeye is also Clint, by the way.
Well, yeah. No, his name is Jim Bob.
Yes.
Spider Island is another top-notch miniseries coming out of Secret Wars, written by Christos Gage, artwork by Paco Diaz, and Spider Island, the original story by Dan Slott, is one of our favorite Spider-Man stories of the last 15, 20 years, easy, and is a great jumping in point for Spider-Man fans in the Marvel Universe. One of the things I like everything about it. I like the writing, I like the artwork, but as a longtime Marvel Comics reader, I like kind of what they're doing with the creatures. Cap Wolf, for example, from a horrendous storyline back in the 1990s, where Captain America and a bunch of his cronies were turned into werewolves, including Wolverine and Cable, if I'm not mistaken. Seek it out just for the kitsch factor. It's like Plan 9 from Outer Space. You don't want to watch it, but you kind of have to. And anyway, and I like how they've created their own version of the Universal monsters with this too, because Carol Danvers is a vampire, the Hulk is kind of like the creature from the Black Lagoon, Captain America is a werewolf, and all of this is done to interfere with the programming from the Spider Queen. So, again, just really good. If you read the original Spider Island, this is another must-have. Really digging it. I don't know what else to say.
No, it's excellent.
It is excellent. I'm going to read it again right now.
And it's
while Josh talks.
Well, I mean, a lot of the a lot of the Secret Wars books are a little heavy because they involve, destroying universes and friends fighting friends and stuff. And this, even though there's huge consequences, is kind of fun. A lizard, Kurt Connor's lizard Hulk, is just cool. It's fun. It's fun comics.
Well, and the other benefit for Spider-Girl fans is that you get a backup Spider-Girl story in the entire series, written by Tom DeFalco with artwork by Pat Olliffe. Written by Tom DeFalco and Ron Frenz. So basically, the entire creative team from the original Spider-Girl run. It's not Pat Olliffe. It's Sal Buscema and Ron Frenz. Sorry, I'm wrong.
We have Friends. Okay, and Ron Frenz. Yeah,
Friends.
It's good.
Anyway, Spider-Girl, you don't get a lot of Mayday Parker action in the current Marvel Universe because she's basically been ejected from history. But now they're trying to bring her back for one reason or another. It started
Even though we've got other universes. I mean, in Civil War, Peter and Mary Jane have a kid. Does she have a name?
Not in Civil War, no.
Yeah, and in Amazing Spider-Man, she has a name, and it's not Mayday.
Well, there's a nice segue to...
Yes. Next up, I'm talking about Amazing Spider-Man. All kinds of Amazing Spider stuff this week. Written by Dan Slott with art by one of the Kubert boys, Andy? Adam Kubert, and inks by 7 different people.
Holy
3
moly.
people. The continuing saga of Amazing Spider-Man, Renew Your Vows. It gets better every issue. I think Slott is masterful at plotting an emotional story arc for characters, and part of the arc we're seeing, it was necessary for me to not like Peter very much at the end of the first issue and the start of the second issue, because of what the character evolves as we see it, and it's super great now. If you like, Spider-Man, this is where you're going to find him. Especially this issue. There's a lot of great moments that are reminiscent of classic Spider-Man stuff. He's fighting some of his most classic villains, and because there are finally stakes high enough that he has no choice, he is dealing more directly with the villains. He's not webbing people up and leaving them for the authorities, because the authorities are the bad guys. He's essentially on the run, and the villains are the establishment, the legitimate people. And it's really great. If you like Peter Parker and his interactions with Mary Jane, family drama, love stories, just awesome comics.
Speaking of awesome comics, it seems like this week of every month, 3 of my favorite Image Comics titles come out. They are Nailbiter, Fade Out, and Outkast.
By Kirkman and Azaceta.
That's the official title. These are so good, people. So good. And they're, I was going to say across all different genres, but not all different genres, because Nailbiter is a horror book, but it's also more of a police procedural horror type of thing. Outkast is definitely a supernatural horror dealing with demonic possession and religion. And, of course, the Fade Out takes place in, what did we say, 1940s? Or is it 1950s?
I think it's the late 40s, early 50s.
Kind of a crime noir steeped in Hollywood lore. And they're just all so good. Trade paperbacks are available for all 3 of these things. Nailbiter has 2 out right now. The Fade Out Actually, the issue that came out this week, number 8, is the end of the second arc. So the first trade is out. The second trade will be coming soon. And Outkast is on issue number 11. And we've said this before, but it's worth repeating. Outkast is written by Robert Kirkman, creator of The Walking Dead. Outkast has been picked up for 2 seasons already on Cinemax and has not aired episode number 1 yet. So they did show a part of the pilot at Comic-Con, and I guess people were passing out and fainting, and the room was filled with gasps. Not gas. Probably some of that, too. But so get in on the ground floor with Outkast. I know a lot of you came to Walking Dead after discovering the TV series, but check out the comics now. I honestly don't know if I'll watch the show because I think it's going to be a little too intense, but reading it in comic form is a little bit different. There's a lot of emotion in this issue of Outkast. There is there's some reveals in this issue of the Fade Out, along with great back matter as usual about Joan Crawford. Not always about Joan Crawford, but this issue about Joan Crawford. And Nailbiter really puts some things on its head. There's some reveals. The main bad guy may not be so bad, and there's a conspiracy going on. Just so good.
Yeah, is that the last issue of the third arc? Are those 5 or 6?
Yeah, I think it is because the next issue isn't out until October, and it's a Halloween special, and then they're back into more. So,
yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
I love all those books. And last up for me this week is Darth Vader number 8, written by Kieran Gillen with art by Salvador Larroca. And Darth Vader has been consistently great, and that's actually saying something, because Darth Vader is one of the characters they've leveraged a lot over the last 30 years in the novels, in the old comics from Marvel, and the old comics from Dark Horse, and the video games. So there are only so many things you can do with him that are new, but there are things happening in here that I've never seen before. It's a different feel. Partially because of the time period we're in, the information he has access to, and partially because you've finally given him someone to talk to who he's not immediately killing. Almost everyone who interacts with him, he's either trying to kill or he just kills them because officers are ineffective and he strangles people with the Force, I guess. So the new cast that Gillen has created is great. The interactions are priceless. This issue is basically a heist issue. We see Vader is kind of running some off-the-book stuff, and he's tasked his sidekick with obtaining things he needs. In this case, what he needs is a buttload of money. And who do they choose to steal it from but the Empire? Go read it. It's awesome.
Agreed. So that's it. While there no outstanding first issues this week, and there are some first issues, don't get me wrong, they just didn't make the cut. Lots of comfort comics this week, things that you should really enjoy. All right, so thank you to those of you that answered my question last week about should we continue butchering creator names, and are they important to you, and the overwhelming response. This is what happens when we shoot this early in the morning. Was yes. Yeah, creators are important to you, and continue to butcher the names. So yes, we will continue to do that. And actually, that makes me very happy that that you guys are following creators in addition to characters. Do you have a question for the viewers this week? Because I don't. I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, you are.
While Josh thinks about that, I will encourage you to give the episode a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Now back to Josh.
I got nothing.
No? Okay.
No questions.
No question this week. I guess my question. I hate to leave without a question. If you are reading the Secret Wars miniseries, which one is your favorite? I mentioned 2 of my favorites, and Josh kind of agreed that Civil War and Spider Island were amongst my favorites. So what is your favorite Secret Wars tie-in if you're reading them? We're curious to know.
The correct answer is Old Man Logan. In
That
case you're
is,
wondering.
there are many to choose from. There is no wrong answer. There are only right answers. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.